Lily loved reading adventure books. She would spend hours under the big oak tree in her backyard, flipping through pages filled with tales of brave explorers, hidden treasures, and mysterious lands. Each story took her on a new journey, and she could almost feel the excitement of the characters as they ventured into the unknown. She dreamt of exploring new places. Often, she would close her eyes and imagine herself in the shoes of the heroes she read about. She could see herself climbing mountains, crossing rivers, and discovering ancient ruins. The world was full of possibilities, and Lily's imagination knew no bounds. Lily wished for a forest adventure. She longed to walk among towering trees, listen to the rustling leaves, and spot wildlife in their natural habitat. The idea of navigating through a dense forest, with only her wits and a map to guide her, filled her with a sense of wonder and excitement. She wanted to see amazing things: birds with vibrant feathers, hidden waterfalls, and the intricate patterns of leaves and flowers. Every detail of the forest seemed magical to her, and she couldn't wait to experience it all firsthand. She often wondered what it would be like to wake up to the sound of birds chirping and the fresh scent of pine in the air. One day, Lily's wish came true. Her parents announced that they were going on a camping trip. Lily's heart raced with joy. She had always wanted to go camping, and now her dream was becoming a reality. She could hardly contain her excitement as she imagined all the adventures that awaited her. Her family planned a camping trip. They decided to visit Redwood National Park, a place known for its majestic trees and breathtaking scenery. The whole family was excited, but for Lily, it was a dream come true. She helped her parents pack the car, making sure they had everything they needed for their adventure. They were going to Redwood National Park. Lily was so excited. She had read about the park in one of her books and couldn't wait to see the giant redwoods in person. The drive to the park was filled with anticipation, and Lily kept looking out the window, imagining all the fun they would have. She knew this would be her big adventure. As they arrived at the park, Lily felt a surge of determination. She was ready to explore, to discover, and to make memories that would last a lifetime. She felt like the heroes in her books, embarking on a journey filled with excitement and wonder. Lily packed her backpack carefully. She included a flashlight and a magnifying glass. She wanted to be prepared for anything, just like the explorers in her stories. She also packed a notebook and a pencil so she could document her findings and sketch the beautiful scenery she would encounter. She also packed her favorite snacks: granola bars, dried fruit, and a few pieces of chocolate for a special treat. She knew that exploring would make her hungry, and she wanted to have plenty of energy for her adventures. Her backpack was now filled with everything she needed for the perfect camping trip. She was ready for anything. With her backpack on her shoulders and a smile on her face, Lily felt unstoppable. She was about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime, and she couldn't wait to see what the forest had in store for her. This was the beginning of her very own story, one that she would cherish forever. The car ride was long. Lily was impatient. She couldn't wait to get to the forest. Finally, they arrived at the park. Lily jumped out of the car. She took a deep breath of fresh air. It smelled like pine needles and damp earth. Lily felt happy and free. Lily, her mom, and dad started hiking. The trail was narrow and winding. Sunlight peeked through the tall trees. The forest was green everywhere Lily looked. The leaves on the trees were different shades of green. The ferns on the forest floor were bright green. Lily saw colorful mushrooms. Some were red with white spots. Others were brown and looked like tiny umbrellas. Lily used her magnifying glass to look at everything. She saw tiny insects crawling on the ground. She felt like a real explorer. The forest was filled with sounds. Birds chirped and sang in the trees. Squirrels chattered as they chased each other. Lily heard the sound of a woodpecker. It was pecking at a tree trunk. Lily tried to find it, but it was hidden high up. Lily loved listening to the Forest Symphony. It was a beautiful and magical place. She felt happy to be there. Section 5. A bridge too far. Lily and her parents continued hiking. They came to a rushing stream. There was a narrow log across it. It looked like a bridge. Lily's dad stepped onto the log. He held out his hand. "Come on, Lily," he said. "It's okay, I'll help you." Lily was scared. The log looked wobbly. The water rushed quickly beneath it. She didn't know if she could do it. Section 6. A moment of doubt. Lily's heart pounded in her chest. She could feel the rapid thumping echoing in her ears, each beat louder than the last. The forest around her seemed to close in, the towering trees casting long shadows that danced menacingly in the breeze. She clutched her chest, trying to steady her breathing, but the anxiety was overwhelming. She imagined herself falling into the water. The thought of the icy cold river sent shivers down her spine. She could almost feel the water engulfing her, pulling her under with its relentless current. The river's roar was deafening, and she could see the white froth of the rapids crashing against the rocks. Her mind raced with terrifying scenarios. What if the water was too cold? The mist rising from the river made it look even more foreboding. She could see her breath in the chilly air, and the thought of plunging into that freezing water made her shiver uncontrollably. Her teeth chattered as she wrapped her arms around herself, trying to ward off the cold. What if the current was too strong? Lily shook her head, trying to dispel the negative thoughts, but the image of the powerful current dragging her away was hard to shake. She could see the water swirling and churning, and it seemed to be calling out to her, daring her to take the plunge. She took a step back, her resolve wavering. "I can't do it," she whispered. Her voice was barely audible, drowned out by the sound of the rushing river. She felt a lump forming in her throat, and her eyes stung with unshed tears. She looked down at her feet, feeling small and insignificant in the face of such a daunting challenge. She felt tears welling up in her eyes. The frustration and fear were too much to bear. She blinked rapidly, trying to hold back the tears, but they spilled over, tracing warm paths down her cheeks. She wiped them away angrily, feeling a mix of shame and helplessness. She was disappointed in herself. She had always prided herself on being brave and adventurous, but now she felt like a coward. The disappointment was a heavy weight on her shoulders, and she slumped down onto a nearby log, burying her face in her hands. She couldn't believe she was letting her fear get the better of her. Lily's dad sat down next to her. He had been watching her from a distance, giving her the space she needed to confront her fears. But now, seeing her so distraught, he couldn't stay away any longer. He placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, offering silent support. He put his arm around her. The warmth of his embrace was comforting, and she leaned into him, seeking solace. He didn't say anything at first, just held her close, letting her know that he was there for her. The steady rhythm of his breathing helped to calm her racing heart. "It's okay to be scared," he said, "but you are brave." His voice was gentle but firm, filled with conviction. He looked into her eyes, his gaze steady and reassuring. "You have faced challenges before, and you have always come out stronger. This is no different. You can do this. I know you can do it." His words were like a balm to her wounded spirit. She took a deep breath, feeling a renewed sense of determination. She looked at the river again, and this time it didn't seem quite as intimidating. With her father's support, she knew she could face her fears and overcome them. Section 7. Building Confidence. Lily took a deep breath. She looked at the log again. It didn't seem as scary now. Her dad believed in her. That made her feel better. Lily took her dad's hand. She took a small step onto the log. It wobbled a little, but she didn't fall. Lily took another step and then another. She was doing it! She was crossing the stream. Section 8. A Victorious Return. Finally, Lily reached the other side. She let out a cheer. She had faced her fear and succeeded. She felt proud of herself. Lily's mom gave her a big hug. "I knew you could do it," she said. "You were very brave." Lily beamed with pride. Lily and her parents continued their hike. Lily wasn't scared anymore. She knew she could overcome any challenge. Section 9. A Heart Full of Joy. As the sun began to set, they returned to their campsite. The sky was painted in hues of orange and pink, casting a warm glow over the forest. The family walked together, their laughter echoing through the trees. They had spent the entire day exploring the wonders of nature, from the tallest trees to the smallest streams. Each step they took was filled with the joy of discovery and the bond of togetherness. Lily was tired but happy. Her legs ached from the long hike, but her heart was light. She had seen so many incredible things today. Deer grazing in a meadow, a family of ducks swimming in a pond, and even a rabbit darting through the underbrush. Every moment was a new adventure, and she had loved every second of it. She had an amazing day. The forest had been like a giant playground full of secrets waiting to be discovered. She had climbed trees, collected colorful leaves, and even found a hidden waterfall. The sound of the water crashing down was like music to her ears, and she had stood there mesmerized for what felt like hours. Lily sat by the campfire with her parents. The fire crackled and popped, sending sparks dancing into the night sky. The warmth of the flames was comforting, and she snuggled closer to her mom and dad. They had set up their campsite in a small clearing, surrounded by tall trees that seemed to touch the stars. They roasted marshmallows and told stories. Her dad told a funny story about his own camping adventures as a child, and her mom shared a spooky tale that made them all shiver with delight. The marshmallows were gooey and sweet, melting in her mouth and making her giggle with happiness. Lily knew she would never forget this adventure. The memories of this day would stay with her forever, like a treasure she could keep in her heart. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the beauty of nature and the love of her family. This was a day that had filled her heart with joy. Lily closed her eyes and smiled. The sounds of the forest at night were like a lullaby, soothing and peaceful. She could hear the gentle rustling of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, and the soft chirping of crickets. It was a symphony of nature, and it made her feel connected to the world around her. The forest was a magical place. By day, it was full of life and energy, but by night, it transformed into a realm of mystery and wonder. The moonlight filtered through the trees, casting eerie shadows and illuminating the path back to their tent. It was like stepping into a fairy tale where anything was possible. She had faced her fear and discovered her own bravery. Earlier in the day, she had been scared to cross a narrow bridge over a rushing stream, but with her parents' encouragement, she had taken a deep breath and made it to the other side. That moment had taught her that she was stronger and braver than she had ever realized. She couldn't wait for her next adventure. The world was full of so many amazing places to explore and so many experiences to be had. As she drifted off to sleep, she dreamed of the adventures that awaited her, knowing that each one would fill her heart with even more joy.